This is an uneasy tale of why Fulanis have been ruling Nigeria. Have you ever wondered why Fulanis have been at the helm of affairs and leadership in Nigeria more than any other tribe, despite the fact that Nigeria has three major tribes: Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba? Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, with over 200 million people. In Nigeria, there are approximately 300 tribes and ethnic groups with their own languages, culture, and custom. This makes Nigeria very diverse and a melting point for people and culture. The Fulanis are called Fula, Fulani, or Fulbe people. They are an ethnic group in West Africa. They are widely spread across the Sahara, Sahel, and West African regions, inhabiting many countries. Fulani speak Fulfude, also called Fula. They are originally migrant herders who were first recorded living in the Senegal River Valley and Western Guinea before expanding eastwards in the 1100s, and now found in large concentrations in Nigeria, Senegal, Guinea, Mali, Cameroon, and Niger. Fulani people emerged from the Sudanic West Africa. The Sudan belt stretches right across Africa from the Atlantic coast to Lake Chad. Before the 80s, Fulanis were scattered all over and can be found in western and central Sudan. However, they're concentrated more in the Futajalon Highlands of central Guinea, Masina, and northern Nigeria. There are approximately more than 25 million Fulani people. There are generally three different types of Fulani based on settlement patterns: the nomadic pastoral or Mbororo, the semi-nomadic, and the settled or town Fulanis. The nomadic or pastoral Fulanis are more around with their cattle throughout the year. The semi-nomadic can settle down temporarily at a particular time of the year. Then we have the settled Fulanis that live in villages, towns, and cities permanently and have given up nomadic life completely. More and more Fulanis change their nomadic lifestyle for settled communities. The disappearance of grasslands and introduction of modern boundaries between African nations contributed to this movement. Some Fulanis settled into towns and adopted Islam and played an important part in spreading the religion in West Africa. Africa is a continent with 54 countries of about 1.3 billion people and more than 3,000 tribes. Before the invasion of the continent by the Europeans, people lived in their different villages, cherished their way of life, and communicated in their local dialects according to their tribes. The natural civilization was truncated by the scramble for Africa between 1881 and 1914 by the European powers. The continent of Africa was invaded, divided, and then colonized by 7 major Western powers, with France and Britain taking the lion's share of the continent. This conquest led to the boundary that exists today on African continent in the form of borders, which gave rise to different African regions and countries. Fulani racial types evolved through intermarriages between the settled Fulanis and the immigrant Berbers. Fulanis are differentiated by occupation. While settled Fulanis were generally quick to adopt and spread Islam, the pastoral Fulanis retained their traditional beliefs. Settled Fulanis are characterized by their mobility in an effort to spread Islam. Fulanis have also shown to be politically ambitious, but not only created states in the areas in which they have settled, but also have been driven from their homes into new areas by rulers who have distrusted them. Fulani were living on the territorial borders of northern Nigeria before the planned attack of Uthman Dan Fodio on the Hausa land in the late 19th century. If you can remember, in the 1800s, Uthman Dan Fodio, who is an Islamic scholar and a preacher, who founded the Sokoto Caliphate, which is now northern Nigeria, the largest independent state in Africa. Uthman belonged to a family of Islamic scholars. He grew up speaking Fulfude and was educated in Arabic. At age 20, Uthman began preaching Islam in rural areas, using simple language to teach the basics of Islam to herders, farmers, and women. Fulani herder groups are considered to be advanced party secret informants sent on reconnaissance mission ahead of every attack by the special and dastardly militant squad. The Fulani elites are the real owners of the cattle herds. Hence, their silence over their activities nationwide. It was revealed that core purpose of Fulani people, the herders, sedentary farmers, and their elitist aristocrats are purely for domination and economy. According to the history, the Islamic religion to them is a tool and grants grand scheme to achieve their goals of dominion. They hide under the canopy of Islam, which their custodians corrupted in the mid-1850s for the domination of their neighbors and take over their farmlands and natural resources. Unfortunately, Hausas unknowingly fell victim to their planned scheme. The Hausa people were set against their wicked kings and eliminated them all. Hausa kings also subjected their people to slavery, but today they are facing their worst subjection in the history under Fulani overlords. Fulani believe that stretching drains, basins, and banks of River Niger across West Africa are their inheritance. Fulani people have been misled by these claims of their elites into believing that Nigeria is their heritage due to the territorial nomenclature of Niger area. Having mobilized their people from the entire Central and Western Africa over the years in their home country of Niger Republic, they craftily rose to migrate in a downward trend, with their leaders citing desert encroachments as an excuse for them to move downward south, hence searching for fodder for their cattle as a reason for their uncontrolled movement. In Nigeria today, there is a thin line between the real Hausas and Fulanis. Most people mix the tribe together, and this is as a result of this Hausa Fulani identity, which came into being with the migration of Fulanis to Hausa land in the northern Nigeria around 14th century and assimilation of Fulani culture into Hausa society. In 19th century, when Uthman Danfodio led a successful jihad against Hausa kingdom, which led to centralized Fulani empire aka Sokoto Caliphate. After the jihad, Danfodio encouraged intermarriages between the immigrant Fulani and conquered Hausa states, which is a major factor in cultural and ethnic mixing of the Hausa Fulani people. In the history of Nigeria, the Fulani has ruled Nigeria more than any other tribe, with the likes of General Murtala Mohammed, who is an Hausa from Kano State, between 1975 and 1976. Then we have Alhaji Shehu Shagari, Fulani from Sokoto State, between 1976 and 1983. We also have General Muhammadu Buhari, a Fulani from Katsina State, between 1983 and 1985. Surprisingly, he came back in 2015, ran election, and did 8 years from 2015 to 2023. General Sani Abacha, who was born in Kano State, though some people are saying that he's Kanuri, some people are saying he's from Niger Republic, just like General Muhammadu Buhari. Between 1993 and 1998, we have late Musa Yar'Adua, a Fulani man from Katsina State, between 2007 and 2010. Fulanis have ruled Nigeria more than any other tribe. According to the story, they migrated into Nigeria in the 1800s during the time of Usman Danfodio, and since then, they've been in the country and they've been at the helms of political affairs in Nigeria, with them leading, and they've mastered this craft of politics so well that their people end up voting them back, even when other people in the country, other tribes in the country, don't necessarily think that they are the best leaders, but they find a way to manipulate people, to win people over, to give them the vote they want. So they've been at the helms of political affairs and they've mastered their craft very well, and they've been leading for so long. They see it as their birthright to lead Nigeria, and their leaders, their elites, are also instilling that into their head that they have come to conquer, they've come to take over the whole of West Africa. River Niger Basin belong to them. So with the look of things geographically, which means they believe that they own the whole Nigeria from the north to the south. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm gonna sign off here. Stay healthy and safe. Remember to share this video with family and friends if you love it, and subscribe to the channel if you've not done already, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye and remain blessed.